Hi, my name is Erin Chung and I help real estate agents get more leads, sales, and referrals online. Today we're talking all about blogging, and stay to the very end because I have a special gift waiting for you at the very end of this video. So have you ever maybe Googled a restaurant or a local business, plumber, you name it, and as you're Googling, you are looking for something like, let's say if it's a restaurant, you're looking for a menu, and it may not be on Yelp or some of the other social channels. So you're actually looking for that restaurant's domain because you know that they'll have a copy of the menu on the domain, right? But when you Google them, you see Yelp and Facebook and whatever, LinkedIn and everything else ahead of that restaurant. You're like, wow, the restaurant's own domain is like fourth on the list. And I beg to ask you, if you Google yourself, whether it be your name or your brand, are you coming up number one on the Google search results? If you aren't, it's because you're not blogging. And in the case of the restaurant, same thing. The reason why Facebook and Yelp and everything else is coming up ahead of that restaurant's own domain, it's because they're not blogging. So blogging is a really, really, really big deal. It's gonna help you to rise in the search engines when people are looking for you, or if they're just looking for things about your community and you happen to have blog posts that match those search results. Blogging is pretty much the holy grail of internet marketing. And the reason why is because if you can write a blog post that gets on the first page of Google, you can collect leads on autopilot indefinitely. My blog posts have hit the first page of Google, and many of you are here now watching this video because you Googled something, happened to stumble across my website, and here we are. So this is very, very important, and I'm gonna show you how you can do the same thing for people that are Googling things about your local community, you and your farm. So let's just talk about a couple of key ingredients that make a good blog. So first and foremost, the blog needs to be evergreen. And evergreen just means that it is as good today as it will be tomorrow. So an evergreen post would be something like horseback riding lessons in Rancho Palos Verdes, which is pretty big in that town. But saying something like Rancho Palos Verdes horseback riding lessons this summer is going to be not evergreen because it has an expiration date. Now, your posts need to be evergreen first and foremost, but there's one exception, and that's if you're doing like a list of community events on Fridays, for instance, which I do recommend that you do. So if you're doing a list of fun local upcoming events every Friday, and that's just something that you want to provide for your farm on a weekly basis, that's perfect, and you will get SEO results from that, but just know that that post is only going to be good for that 1 week. The second main ingredient is going to be that the fact that the blog needs to be helpful. Now, if you are in the camp where you are buying canned posts or, something that you've purchased off of the internet, it's not going to be as effective because it's not going to be helpful to your community. So you want to make sure that whenever you're blogging or you're taking the time to blog, that post is going to be extremely helpful. The reason why is because Google wants to provide the most helpful content so that people use Google more. So the more you use Google, the more that they can serve ads to you, and that's how they keep their lights on. So you want to make sure that if you are providing content and blogging, that it's very, very helpful to people, and you will be rewarded for that in the Google search results. You also want to make sure that your blogs are long form. Now, every blog post that you write doesn't have to be 10,000 words by any means, but I just want you to know that the average first position, first page ranked article that's on Google happens to be about 2,000 words on average. So what I like to do is I like to create a couple of key cornerstone posts, and those posts will be the cornerstone of every single post that I write. So let's say at the top of that post you have something like restaurants in Houston, and every post that you write underneath that can just kind of go underneath that umbrella. But that monster post of restaurants in Houston, or moving to Houston, or how to buy a home in Houston, those monster posts, that will be about 2,000 words or more. And I know that seems crazy, but you can work up to that, I promise. So along the same vein of being helpful, your posts really do need to be high quality. Now, everybody's not a good writer, and I totally understand that. But if you want to write out maybe a list of 15 bullet points that you want to make sure to hit, and then hire a writer to make it sound pretty, that's fine. But the original content does need to come from you. It also needs to be consistent. So I recommend on the consistency scale about once a week. Preferably more, but if you can only do once a month, great, that's a great goal. And then work up to once a week or more than once a week as you get better and better and faster at blogging. So what are the types of posts that get the most traction in your community? And these are the posts that are actually going to be about your community. So what types of things would your community like? They usually like things that have to do with shopping, events, restaurants, outdoor life, anything that's going to be really helpful that you can think that people are actually Googling is going to be great for your community or your farm. And I recommend that wherever you go, so if you go out to lunch with your family or if you meet a client at a coffee shop, just take a couple of photos, and then once you get home, just add it to the blog. Talk about what a great time you had. You can talk about the menu, what they offer, anything that's going to be helpful for people as they're Googling things in your town. In my case, I actually wrote a really quick blog post about a grand opening that I happened to be a part of. And when this restaurant had the grand opening, I took really cute photos and I wrote up a blog post, and then I posted it in a whole bunch of local Facebook groups, and within minutes, it had been shared 500 times. And it was amazing because everyone in the community was talking about it. Even the restaurant owner emailed me and was like, hey, can you come back? We want you to take more photos. Like, it was nuts. And after about 3 or 4 days, it had been shared 2,000 times. So I didn't even boost it. I didn't pay any money, nothing. And the icing on the cake is that the reason why I even was invited to the grand opening in the first place was because we walked up and it was an invite only soft launch. And when we told the guy that I had a really popular blog, he was like, come on in. So it kind of feeds on itself. If you have a blog, you can actually get into places that other people cannot get into and have your foot in the door with local restaurant owners, which is such an awesome thing. And then once you write about it, it's goodwill. You write about their stuff and then they talk about you. The cycle goes on and on and on. So blogging is perfect for that. So let's talk about how you get found. Let's talk about some real estate SEO. So the first thing that you want to do when it comes to real estate SEO is make sure that you're using keywords. Now, what is a keyword? A keyword can be something as simple as homes for sale in Houston. Now, that's not a keyword that I would recommend targeting by any stretch of the imagination, because Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, Your Broker, all of those big portals already have that one locked down. So you're gonna wanna basically have longer tail keywords, because Zillow can't touch you. If you're going hyper local and having really long keywords that people are searching for in your community, but Zillow's not targeting, then you're good. So when it comes to keywords, you want to make sure that it has a high search volume and low competition. So homes for sale in Houston has really high search volume, but it also has high competition, and that's a no-no. But if you're doing something like homes for sale in Houston with a pool under X amount, well then that's something that Zillow's going to have a really hard time beating you on. So when it comes to finding real estate keywords, I have a secret weapon, and it's called Uber Suggest. And I love Uber Suggest so much because not only is it owned by one of my favorite all-time SEO geniuses of all time, Neil Patel, it also is free. So there's a lot of keyword tools out there that you can use, and I use some paid ones, but Uber Suggest is the easiest, most simple thing that you can use for free. And if you type your city or community into Uber Suggest, it'll give you thousands of blog topics to talk about. And these are based on keywords that people are actually searching for, which is huge. So what I would do is I would actually go to Uber Suggest, type in my community, see what it says, and then start making blog posts based on those suggestions, because you know that people are searching for it. So why not have it out there and see if you can get found. Now, when you find a keyword that you want to write about, there's a couple of places that you need to put the keyword in the blog post. So you're going to want to sprinkle it in lots of different places, but there are 5 main places that you want to make absolutely sure that you've put it. So first and foremost is going to be in the URL. So this is yourdomain.com/Best Barbecue in Houston, something like that, okay? So you wanna make sure that you're putting it in the URL. And if you have WordPress, which is the only platform that I recommend, this is super simple. Next, you're gonna wanna put it in the title of the blog post. If the keyword is Best Barbecue in Houston, you're gonna wanna make sure that you title the blog post Best Barbecue in Houston. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna sprinkle that keyword throughout your blog post. So just make sure that you've mentioned it a few times, and I actually have a tool called Yoast, and it's free if you're using WordPress to blog, and Yoast will actually tell you if you've mentioned it enough times in your post. So that's a great, great tool. You're also gonna wanna put your keyword in your image title and in your alt tags. This sounds complicated, but again, if you have WordPress, it's super, super simple. So in your image, you would title your image something like Best Barbecue in Houston, and then in your alt tag, you would just say something like, this is a picture of Bucky's Barbecue, Best Barbecue in Houston, something like that, okay? So there are some general common blog topics that you can always go to as a real estate agent for real estate SEO and your real estate keywords. So let's go ahead and talk about what some of those blog topics are. So you can have blog posts for sellers, blog posts for buyers, neighborhood pages, market updates, upcoming events, best of roundup posts, local business spotlights, list of parks, dog parks, farmers markets, list of restaurants, best pizza, those types of things. Blog posts for upsizers, millennials, downsizers, and even local activities for kids. Another blog topic that I absolutely love is, again, the neighborhood posts. So if you can actually write a little blog post about every single neighborhood in your community, imagine how helpful that would be. If I'm a buyer, I'm gonna be Googling that community all the time because that's where I want to be, right? I want to know everything about it. And if I'm a seller living in that community, I'm probably going to want to know market updates. I'm going to be Googling when I'm thinking about selling because I want to know how much I can probably get for my house and what my house is worth. So I would definitely be writing blog posts on every single one of the communities. So I know why you're not blogging, and here's some of the things that I hear every single day, and I want to kind of debunk some of these myths. So number one, why you're not blogging. So number one of why you're not blogging, you don't have time to blog. And I totally get that. Agents are super busy people. But if you're spending a lot of time in your car going from appointment to appointment, or you're waiting on people or inspectors or, whatever, you have a lot of downtime. So what you can do easily is just whip out your cell phone and take a recorded message of yourself. Every single cell phone has the ability to record voice messages, right? So record a voice message, make sure it's about 5 to 10 minutes, and just talk about something that you really, really want to talk about. So like if you do your keyword research the next day, and then while you're waiting, go ahead and talk into your cell phone about everything you know about that topic, and then have it transcribed by a company called Temi.com, and they will transcribe it for about 10 cents a minute. So if you talk for 5 minutes, it's only 50 cents. And then once you get the transcription, just clean it up and post it on your blog. Simple. Another thing that you can do is talk into a camera, just like I'm doing now. So if you feel like you're better on camera, take out your cell phone or take out your DSLR, set up a tripod, and start talking about that subject. And then once you do that, you can post that on your blog, have it transcribed, and then you have a blog post, and then you have the video. That's exactly what I'm doing now. Blogging is boring. So I want to get this out of the way. I pride myself on my writing skills, but I think blogging is boring too. But what lead generation is fun? Door knocking sucks, cold calling sucks, blogging sucks, posting on social media sucks. It all sucks. Like there's no fun lead generation. It's just the matter of the results that are fun. So I don't blog because I love to write. Like I blog because it gets results, and most of you are here because I blog. So you just kind of have to get that out of your mind. Like, if it's not fun for you, again, make it in a better way that's going to be easier for you so that you can do it. Whether that means doing it on a voice record or on a video, just make sure that it gets done. That's it. And then finally, can I just outsource it? And the answer to that is absolutely not. And it would almost be like if you were door knocking, but sending someone else in your place. So what if the seller has questions? What if they want to know more about their house? Like, the person that you're sending in your place is not going to know any of that. And it's going to be a bad representation on you and your brand. And that person's never going to want to do business with you again. So what I recommend instead is, if you want to outsource, you can outsource the final product, but you cannot outsource the initial content. So again, what you can do is just have a voice recorder, a video, or even if you want to write down 15 bullet points, that's fine. You can send that to an editor, have them make it, sound pretty and add all of the flowers and everything else, and then send it back to you, and then you can post it that way. But outsourcing original content is never, never, never a good idea. So unless you have a marketing admin that actually lives in your community, who knows the community just as well as you do, or if your partner's like your husband or your wife, that's different, but it has to be someone who knows your community inside and out. So when you are buying these canned blog posts, number one, it's not helping anyone. Number two, you get in what you put out. Garbage in, garbage out. So if you buy something because you're too lazy to write a blog post, then you have to expect that you're not going to get quality leads. So in this blog post that accompanies this video, I'm going to link the blog post below, but I have some really awesome examples of agents who are crushing it with blogging. They're getting leads, sales, referrals, and they're basically, most of them, their whole entire business is based off of a blogging model, which is awesome. So if you don't like cold calling or door knocking, then this could be a more viable option for you. Just keep in mind that blogging takes longer, but it is a long-term method of lead generation. So again, if you have a blog post that makes it to the top of Google, you'll be collecting leads all day, every day, indefinitely. So that's a really, really awesome position to be in. Now, the final thing that I have for you, in the beginning of this video, I promised you a special gift. And the gift at the end of this video is a list of 252 blog topics. The reason why this is important is because that is one blog topic for every single working day of the year. So if you want this blog post topic, it's yours. It's waiting for you in the online marketing library of the Lead Strategy Academy. So I look forward to seeing you in the Academy, and I've linked that below, and I'll see you in the next video.